You probably haven't seen me before. I'm usually behind the screen, upstairs usually. We usually have like a wellbeing coach doing this or two, and special guests. My special guest today is Charlie Bonner.
Hello.
I'm the media tech, Lucas. Yeah, I usually do the moderating, not facilitating. But today we're going to talk to you about pride and celebrating and talking about different ways we can keep our well-being positive in, on the island, and well, not just the island, but on the UK, internationally. And you'll probably see on social media that we've got posts about well-being, so you might have seen them already. And we'll be posting more links as well after this. But we also have like a few different lives that you can look back on as well. So don't worry if you miss this one, you can watch it back. Obviously, we want to say that there's a public comment section. So if you comment anything, then we warn you.
We will see it.
We will see it, but we're saying that other people can see it as well. So you have to watch out for that as well. So yeah, we're going to talk about what do we have, why do we have pride? Well, this was started by Marsha P. Johnson, and there's some misconceptions about if there were a gay man or a drag artist or a trans person, but we don't actually know for sure because it was in 1969, and the protests with Stonewall was it was quite difficult for Marsha P. And it was only recently that she was acknowledged that she was even at Stonewall as well. But what do you think pride means to you, Charlie?
Well, to me, it's quite basic, but it's the celebration of everyone and everything and who you want to be and what you want to be and what you want to do. And it's just to support that and to show that it's cool and chill to be who you want to be.
Yeah.
And if people don't like that, up the yard. So that's how I see it. I don't go too in depth on like that there is some sad stuff connected to why we have pride, but in the end it is to make us more supported and happy and feel safe. So that's what I think pride.
Yeah, no. So what I was saying about Stonewall is that because it's kind of difficult to know what actually happened back then because we weren't there. But we can read about it, and obviously Marsha P. She obviously I don't know her pronouns because obviously she's dead now. So we can't be. We're trying to be respectful as we can. But there's misconceptions because it was so long ago that we don't know if she was a trans woman, and that is why it's quite difficult and why we need pride right now is, one of the reasons, because obviously if I went to pride and someone walking down the street, there's some ways you can tell, or you can ask them a question now like, oh, what's your pronouns? But you couldn't have conversations like that back then.
You can,
and there was a lot of fear and more repercussions for that. So that's why it's just nice that we can do that much more than we would before. But yeah, pride meaning to me, I think, as you say, is like a simplistic way. It's about identity, celebrating what we are and what other people are, finding new identities. Because the thing with LGBT plus is that it's speaking to a wider community and things we don't know yet, and the possibilities that there's going to be more pronouns, more terms that we don't know about yet. And I find it that's exciting.
It's magical.
Yeah.
It's nice to know that there's new things that we're all going to discover, and it's hopefully never stops, because you do what you need to be able to do.
Yeah. No, because I like that it's a plus and it leaves it open, because it's just, there's a lot of things I don't know. I know a lot about Pride, and I know about myself. I know a lot about the community modern days, but I don't know about the future. You don't know about the future. So it's nice to have that open and people can be who they want to be. And I'm excited to see the community and internationally it being more open to people, and especially mental health services as well, which is really exciting. But yeah, we have to talk about Pride and where it came from. And Marsha P. Johnson, it wasn't just a parade, it was first all a riot.
A protest?
A protest, because there was 200 people, over 200 people in a gay bar in New York City. And obviously we won't go into too much detail, but people weren't okay with that, and there was a lot of stigma, and they were forced out of that gay bar and onto the street, and Marsha P. Johnson was one of the most prominent people to stand up to that, and that's how the Stonewall riots came about, because the place was called Stonewall, the gay bar. So it was really striking and so powerful for a person of colour to do that in 1969, and so much praise for that person, because there's like an overwhelming fear even now to kind of like to come out still. And even though I'm so happy for who I am and who I've become, I still feel a little bit like you're wary of your spaces where you feel more comfortable to come out to people. And like I get that, but I can't even imagine being in her shoes, or however she would want to be called. But all we know is that it's Marsha P. Johnson, and the P in Johnson means pay it no mind.
Pay it no mind.
Pay it no mind.
It's my favourite saying.
Yeah, and you might have heard it maybe from RuPaul or other drag queens may have said it. It's a reference to Marsha P. But it means that she was saying no negativity on appearance and life choices, and that's what we want to talk about, of not being afraid, no negativity towards other people's appearances, your own self-reflection, life choices, because we're all human. We all put our feet in the same trouser hole every day, and we're the same people. I might struggle a little bit because I'll go to H&M and like it'll say 10 and I won't fit into a 10, and like I might need a 12, and that's okay.
That's completely fine.
Yeah, but we all put our legs in the same holes for our trousers. Sorry. It was a more elaborate. You get what I'm saying?
We get.
You get what I mean by that. But yeah, and I think with Pride, like when it comes down to it, even though it was a riot, and now it's become more of a parade, celebration, and because we feel more safer as a community, and we feel more connected, we can celebrate it with straight people and cis people. And for people who don't know what cis means, it means that whatever you were born as gender-wise, identity-wise, you are still now that identity. So if you were born a man and you still identify as a man, you're cisgendered. So just in case there was any confusion about that, that's what it means. And also, hello to everyone watching. I don't know if I said hello, but yeah. So that's what I'm really happy about, that we can have cisgendered straight people or, because you might be both, joining Pride with homosexual people, transgender people like myself. I'm also a queer person, and I don't know if you want to talk about a little bit about yourself. community-wise, if you feel comfortable? Only if you do.
Yeah, I'm a go-to gay man. That's it. There's nothing more special about me, really. But
You're very
I'm just
special, Charlie.
I'm just
Don't downgrade yourself.
a camp man who just
Yeah.
lives his life. But
And I like that you are yourself and you're very openly yourself.
it took a while, but you know, I don't care what people think about me. I was literally like dancing down the street with my cousins the other day, and they thought I was a weirdo, but
So
I don't really care.
live your life, live fancy.
Just gotta. You're more happy if you're being yourself than
Yeah.
trying to hide it and feeling uncomfortable. There's no point doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's just me. I'm just normal.
Yeah. Okay. Challenges that come with being in the LGBT plus community, and how I can keep safe and look after my mental well-being. So I think I've suffered through quite a few challenges with the LGBT community. Some very, very difficult things that relate to it very strongly. But I've heard that we've had a conversation that you don't feel that you have as a gay man.
No. Well, I haven't. No, not through high school. Like you got called names. There was nothing like you hear people getting beaten up or kids getting beaten up.
Yeah.
I never had that. I didn't really care. I was shy, but I wasn't confident, but I didn't care about it. And then I went to college and I was surrounded by gay people and women. So I felt comfortable then. So I never really had a hard life, but I was on the Isle of Wight. So I feel like Isle of Wight is kind of a safe place, which is quite surprising.
Yeah.
But I've recently moved to Ireland.
Yeah.
And since I moved there, the dynamic has changed. And I wouldn't say I don't feel safe, but I have to be very careful. I feel that I have to be very careful where I hold hands with my partner or certain areas I've been told they will come for you. But it's not even, it might not, but I've been told that.
But like
it's a different
fear.
dynamic.
So it's not like you know that they will, it's that fear.
That they might.
Yeah.
And that's just trying to be yourself. But if you know that, I'm not going to risk it.
Yeah, and I think that comes from everyone, whether you're out or not. You have that fear inside of, even if you experience discrimination or not, it's that fear in the back of your mind thinking, will I though, or will I move and will I have that feeling, will that go away? And I can tell you that it will ease as you grow up and you see the world and you see how diverse it can really be. You'll find your safe places, you'll find where you're more comfortable. It's like anything, whether it's to do with sexuality, identity, anything, it's like going to your favorite shop. So you feel more comfortable maybe going down the street and you're like, oh, I know Co-op, I know the layout, so I'm going to go to Co-op. And like, oh, I'm going to go to, what's another brand, Sainsbury's, and it's like you don't know the layout. You feel a bit worried. Wherever you go, you're going to feel a little bit of hesitation. Step in there, but then you won't know if you feel accepted or not. So, as you say, with traveling, you wouldn't know.
No.
It felt like it's a big step for you because you didn't just visit, you've moved there.
Yeah.
And you've come down to do Pride with me. Not the whole of Pride, but we've got like an act that we'll talk about at the end. But it's nice to see that you've come back and you get to experience what we have on the island, but also in Ireland, and you can give that contrast. And places like Brighton is a good example because they're very big on Pride, very open, diverse, and I think it just makes me happy to see it posted on social media because they wouldn't have had that in 1969.
They wouldn't.
And like, I think I touched on it earlier, but in 1969, when the Stonewall riot happened, the the New York City police only apologized in 2019. 50 years later, which I didn't even know about. I just read, like, when I was researching this.
We literally were both like shocked. Like,
yeah, we looked at each other
speechless.
like, is that right? And like, there might have been some sort of statements and things, but I think documented that was how late. And I think that's disgraceful, really, because it just shocked me to the core. I was just like, literally, because I'm speechless even thinking about it. And it's just, I feel so bad because a lot of people who got injured or worse haven't had that reassurance or felt like that they could put that to bed. But nowadays, we don't have that a lot of crime that's bad against gay people. Maybe in some other countries, but in the UK, on the Isle of Wight, we are quite protected and looked after, and we have a lot of communities and safe spaces that we can go to, and we'll talk to you about those in a second, where if you're feeling a little in between, if you're not out yet, or if, you know, like you just want to meet new people in the community, like you don't even have to be a queer person or identifying anything different than straight or cisgender. You might want to just see what it is. And a lot of places, which I haven't written down, but I've just remembered Key Arts. Yeah, Key Arts. I was going to say Q. There's a Q in front of it. Key Arts is a great place, like a community hub, where you can go have a drink or a non-alcoholic drink and chill out and listen to some music. And they do LGBT nights. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, you've moved to Ireland, so it'll be a bit difficult. But like, yeah, even if you don't live on the island, it's like a social hub that I didn't know that until like last year or something. When I met, I think someone for a job interview, and we were just having kind of an informal job interview, and they were like, "Oh, why don't you meet at Key Arts?" And I was like, "Okay," and you can have a cake, you can have coffee, like there's nights. I don't know if it's fortnightly. It might be even weekly, but they do LGBT nights. They do musical nights, things for everyone, I think. And it's just like relaxed. You don't have to be out to be there, and you can feel like I'm just mingling, and that's how I personally like it the way it is. And my point from earlier was that because it's not more of a riot now, it's more of a parade, a celebration, we can go to places and feel like I'm actually mingling with people like-minded to me. I don't have to announce my sexuality or my gender identity, and I feel that I can just make friends and say, how do you do? This is where I work. This is my favorite color. You know, I don't have to explain myself and protect myself, which I think is amazing. And to do that on the island, which I think is such a big tourist place as well. We want to promote that, and doing these lives can help us bring attention to actually we have a good community here, and we'll be reaching out to these companies, and we've been doing collaborations, and we wanted to talk about pride ultimately, but when it isn't pride, what do you do? Where do you feel like you can go, call a helpline, or where do I go if I'm not in pride anymore? It's not Pride Month, it's gone past, I'm still in some sort of limbo with myself, my sexuality, my gender identity. Where do I go? And there's a few places that we can go. There's No Limits, which is a mental health service for young people, and I think you can talk to them online or call up and everything. And we'll be posting links after this live as well. And we've posted this on social media as well, so you can always look back at our social media and everything. But there's NHS links as well that we can go to. There's LGBT Armed Forces help, so if you were in the armed forces, in the military, anything related to that, there's some support for you as well. HANTS, HANTS.gov.uk if you search that up, there's different lists of activities and support groups in your area, so you can isolate it so it's your location, so anywhere nearby to help you with that. So if you wanted to just talk to people, or if you need crisis lines, or any sort of support, unofficial or professional, then you can find that out through that website. So that's HANTS, HANTS.gov.uk, if you want to search that up. And there's also support for the homeless on the Isle of Wight as well, which I didn't know about. I know it's a big issue that I think a lot of people don't talk about, is fleeing from their families because of their gender or sexual identity. I know a few people on and off the service that have struggled with this, has voiced to us, and who've talked to me out of Isopia, personal friends who've had to leave their homes, like not even collect their possessions or anything, and get away because they felt unsafe in where they are. And sometimes that might be the right thing to do, but you need to go to the right places before you do something rash like that, because there is places that you can go to. There's a big community, and if you don't feel like that's coming from family, friends, people that you know outside of these services, you can go to these services that NHS provide. And it's nice to know that on the island the council have linked things on their website, and that's at like isleofwight.gov, and you can go there, and there's some help with homelessness, and they don't discriminate. There's a section for LGBT people, and you can talk about your struggles and find a community, and they'll search the neighborhood as well, so they can, it's like Isle of Wight Home Finder and things like that, because I've done it before, because obviously being transgender and queer, and obviously when I used to be in between jobs with a child as well, that was a lot for me to think about, to move, and I'm thinking about the area. Am I going to be safe? Am I going to feel protected? But I'm like, oh my god, it's such a relief that we have these services in place that we can go to, and to have it like what's the word when not subsidized, but when it's condensed, so it's listed in a way and formatted in a way that you can just easily click onto it. So it's good to have the tabs where it can say.
I'm trying to think of the
yeah,
word.
no, I think it is concise. Yeah. But yeah, all of those places listed are really helpful for the community. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about Pride for a little bit, as that's the topic. Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't go. Okay.
There we go. We've got a touch screen. Amazing technology. LGBT community support and Pride events. So we talked about community support. You can watch this back if you missed anything, or if you just come on now and you wanted to know about support groups and everything like that. We've listed HANTS, NHS. Just for quick references, if you want to find anything LGBT mental health service, if you go to NHS, then you'll be able to just kind of type in LGBT plus, and there'll be loads of mental health lists and links. There's no limit. Minds is a good one, Health Organisation for Mental Health Wellbeing. And we always share stuff on our social media. So if you are at all confused or need to find anything, we've usually listed it on our social media and we'll pin it. So any sort of questions or comments that you leave on this live, whether you watch it live or later, just comment down below and we'll help you out. And you can always call the number on our screen here, the little ticker that's going across. That's our website, www.isopia.uk, and we've also got a call helpline, which is 01983 217 791. So you can call that 9 to 5. Yeah, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday, and you can still call on the weekends, but it'll go through to voicemail, and then we'll pick it up on Monday. So don't worry if you want to join the service and you're like, oh, I want to do it now because I'll forget. Because sometimes I'm like, I can't call the doctors because it's the weekend because they won't go through. You can call on the weekend, but if you do it Monday to Friday, then there will be someone to pick it up for you. And those are the Wellbeing Coaches. So sorry, I won't be picking up the phone because I'm a media tech. But if you need any LGBT support, I have printed out and made a concise list, which I've read out a few, but this is like half the amount of support groups that I've actually comprised and put in a list. So if you wanted access to that, then I can talk to a wellbeing coach, send it out to you personally if you're a member. I can also post it on our public Facebook page if you need it. But there's so many different communities and support groups on the island that I just want people to know about because it's just really important. And yeah, I think to list it, and I've printed it out and given it to the wellbeing coaches, so they have it near their stations. So if they call up and you're asking about LGBT issues, or your conversation, if you were talking about your mental health wellbeing, and you're like, actually, I have been struggling with my sexuality, or I don't know any community places or hubs that I can go to, any places that I feel safe, then those lists those places. So they have a piece of paper on their desk, so they can look at that for quick reference and answer your questions. So that shouldn't be a problem. So amazing. But yeah, I think to round it off, because we've only got 2 minutes left, but it doesn't matter that if we go over or not, for Pride. And do you want to talk a little bit about what we've been doing to Pride? Because I've been chewing everyone's ear off of my community.
Okay, so Pride is at the weekend, which is
the 16th.
Yeah, I was going to say the 13th because my brain's not working. The 16th. There is 2 other days as well, Friday and Sunday, but they're kind of just little like events. They're not the main event.
Yeah.
So we are doing a drag performance, like duet. It's kind of based off a lip sync battle, and we're just dancing to really classic gay icon songs like Britney Spears and Madonna.
A lot
of good bangers.
Yeah.
So get down to watch that.
A lot of tunage going on.
But
yeah, if you've seen RuPaul's Drag Race, you'll probably know what lip sync battles are. But even if not, swing by because it'll be really fun. It'll be
banging
at 4:30 our performance. But please come down to Pride. I think does it start at 10 a.m.?
I think the parade starts at 9 or 10. I think they have it on posters on their Instagram, which I think is just Isle of Wight Pride. If you search that up,
I think
and they'll have the times.
I think it's iwpride.org, I believe, is the website. But obviously, just type in Isle of Wight Pride on Google, and it'll come up the first result. So you can see all the set lists, and there's loads of promo images. If you go on Instagram, you'll see us there as well. But there's different links and different contact numbers as well. A lot of different drag queens are hosting.
Some good ones.
Yeah, and if you don't, a lot of that have come down to the island. I think Cherry Liqueur was in 2019. Don't know if she's coming down to this one, but I know there's a few different famous drag queens that are coming down here as well. But in the 2019, they've been travelling and they did the UK drag race, didn't they? I'm pretty sure. But
who did?
And there was like a UK drag race person who came out in 2019.
Oh, Cheryl Hole.
Oh yeah.
I think it was Cheryl Hole.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's just like, I think that's amazing that we actually get to do that and promote that and feel that like we can't, that we wouldn't be able to do that a few years
And that
ago.
we're a part of it, which is actually really
We're a
exciting.
part of it, like not just it's happening, but we're a part of it, and it's really exciting.
And it's been cancelled like for 3 years, obviously.
Not this one.
Not this one. Sorry.
It's been
don't come at all. No, it's not been on for a good couple of years now, so it's really good to have a.
Yeah, on the beach this time. So this year, it's Eastern Gardens, but it's kind of on the strip.
Mhm.
So you can follow the parade. I like
The parade.
that. Parade.
That's
Pride
new
parade. I believe it's 10, but you might be right. It might be between 9 and 10. But it'll be going down Union Street, ending, I believe. So it'll go through the high street and everything, but it will come down to
like
Ryde Beach.
Yeah, like near the harbour like area. You'll see there's going to be a giant stage. You won't miss it.
Yeah. So Eastern Gardens is like near Peter Pan's amusement park, and there's different stalls, and there'll be live music, and we'll be performing later on. But just like, even if you're not out or not even gay, if you're just straight and you're just curious, it's just really nice to see a lot of people and supporting the community and have allyship, and to feel like, you know, because we're all friends and we're all like humans, so let's just hang out.
Hang out.
Yeah, because like it doesn't matter when it comes down to it. And there was some quote that I heard recently, which was, when you're in the dark, you feel like you're buried, but you're actually being planted. And it's kind of a simple quote, but it made me think of, after the darkness, you do feel like you come back to light, and because you have to hit your lowest low to get to that high. So once you've been planted, you grow.
I like that.
Yeah, and grow from where you've been planted.
You have to have hardships and feel what that is like to feel happier, because you can avoid the stuff that's hurt you before, and you're a better person.
Yeah, you have to learn from that, and it's life experiences like that you reflect on, that you feel like, yeah, as you say, those hardships is what sets those points in your brain to change trauma responses, and to feel like, I've actually got a set plan, I know where I'm going now, because I've dealt with this before, I'm stronger. And yeah, it's just, I like how the brain works like that. Obviously it's difficult, and it's not ideal to go through these hardships, but you have to look at it with a positive mindset and think, I was there and now I'm here, and what an amazing journey, and I did that.
You made it.
Yeah, you made it, and that was all you. Like, even if you have support from your friends, family, that was all you, it came from you. So think about that quote. That's something to take away from this live, is, I'm not buried. When I'm in the dark, I'm not buried. I've been planted, because I'm going to grow from whatever I've been suffering with, from it, and flourish and bloom and be proud of who you are, because you're you and no one else is you. And
also, pay it no mind.
Pay it no mind. Marsha P. Johnson. I didn't say Jones.
Johnson.
Marsha P. Johnson. P standing, pay it no mind.
Pay it
no negativity on appearances or life choices. You are you, and that's the main important thing. So I think that's a really good way to end it, actually.
That's a positive note.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Charlie.
That's okay. I'm kind of excited now. I was nervous, but now I'm.
See, that's the thing. We were kind of figuring out where we were going to go in the beginning. Obviously, I've never done it before. I've been moderating it.
But I've never done it, so.
Yeah. So
luckily it worked.
Yeah. So I think, like, I did tell you before that the first 5 minutes is daunting. Honestly, we don't know what's going to happen, but we got into a good flow, and we talked about some really important points, and talked about the community and our personal experiences and everything we wanted to talk about, which is really good and a really successful life. So thank you for everyone for joining. Obviously, you can watch this back. Remember that we're open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Just call the number at the bottom or go to our website and you can talk to our wellbeing coaches. Again, I'm a media technician, so I won't be picking up the phone, unfortunately, but you'll probably see me at Pamper Day, taking pictures or seeing my social media posts, because that's what I usually moderate and I put on the accounts. So yeah, it's nice talking to you, everyone. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one next week at Thursday at 10 a.m. So I'll see you then. See you later, guys.